when I first got to Australia, and they asked me, how does this team compare to, playing with the Warriors, and as far as winning, and it was just like it's culture, man. It's personnel who you have around you, and I think that it's a big sense of selflessness. Like those things, I feel like are the recipe for winning culture. We had that in Golden State, where if it didn't matter if it was KD or it was me or James McAdoo, like it was, hey man, like if you ain't doing something right, somebody gonna get called out for it.
Welcome back to the Role Player Podcast presented by Swish Cultures, featured on Eurohoops.net, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you can get your podcast. One thing, make sure you go ahead and hit that Swish Cultures like button and follow along for us and subscribe for all the dope content they got putting out there. So I am Jordan Taylor. I'm back again with my co-host, CEO, co-founder, Swish Cultures, 11-year overseas vet, former 11-year overseas vet, and Stanford gentleman. You got the one and only Anthony Goods. What's happening with you?
Man, chilling, man. Just wait for November 11th. You know what I mean? We got Badgers on the plate. You know what I mean? I'm probably going to be, I don't know. We ain't settled on an amount, but I might be a little richer, you know what I mean, by the end of the night. So, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. Stanford, Wisconsin,
Hey, look, I'll put the year's salary on that. Y'all boo-boo. You know what I'm saying? I put the whole year's salary on that. What's happening? You know what I'm saying?
I ain't got that much faith. I got dinner on it though.
I know shit. I know you got everything in the works, man. I need to put me in on one of your projects. That's all I need. Give me a credit title or a producer title or something like that. That's what I need, man. So hairline looking all right. I got my hat on today. You know what I'm saying? It's a little rough over here right now. I'm in the process of finding me a barber. But we're going to get to it, man. We're going to get to it. But look, man, we got a good guest for everybody today, man. We got someone I got to play against, someone I got to follow their career relatively closely. He's he's an NBA champ in 2017. He is the NBL champ most recently 2020, an AP All-American in 2013, Ohio Valley Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year in 2013, first team All-Ohio Valley, obviously, two-time All-Atlantic Sun. We can go on. And, of course, the MVP of the 2013 Summer League. We got the one and only Mr. Ian Clark. Ian, appreciate you pulling up, man.
Man, appreciate y'all guys for having me, man.
No doubt. I'm looking forward to getting some perspective for you, and we're going to jump right in, man. You had a hell of a journey, but we're going to start right there with the Summer League MVP in 2013. For those that don't know, Summer League is a crapshoot, man. It's a difficult environment to play in. It's not easy. You were undrafted. That makes it even more difficult. You had guys like Draymond Green on your team, Craig Smith, who had 6-7 years of service. So you might have not been the number one option. So just walk us through your mindset going into a situation like that and being able to play at such a high level.
Man, it started in that year I played 2 summer leagues. So I started in Miami, down in Orlando. And, it was kind of, I remember, the night of the draft, and obviously everybody wanted to hear their name called, but, I had a reality check, to myself and to, my family, like, hey, like, I might not get drafted, but I'm going to make it to the NBA at some point. And being able to have the opportunity to play with Miami in the summer league in Orlando really helped me, I think, get a little acclimated to what was about to come. Obviously, my first few games in Miami, I didn't play a lot, and then it's crazy because we ended up playing Utah. Was looking in hindsight, that's the team I actually signed with after the summer league. We played them our first game, and in the second half, I had like 15 off the bench, and from then on, I ended up starting in Miami. And but I made the commitment to. Miami that year was the only team that played both Miami and Vegas, and they wanted me to stay with them, but I made a commitment to play with Golden State. And like you said, man, it was tough from the beginning from Miami, but now I'm moving to another team within summer league, and I'm the new guy. Everybody, they've been practicing, and they had a training camp and they tour days, so kind of getting thrown in the fire, man. And just trying to find a way. Like I said, Kent Bazemore, Draymond Green, Scott Machado, Kevin Murphy, one of my guys, man, they have to put the ball in the basket, they can score. And so I'm just trying to find my way. I end up shooting the ball really well and end up, playing a lot of minutes with that team. And like I said, for me, it was just, man, swing for the fences. I can't. I'm playing with house money. If I end up something happening from this, then it's great for me, obviously. But nobody really expected an undrafted guy from Belmont to have that opportunity, and so I just want to take advantage of it, man. And it worked out for me. So.
All right, I think it's important, especially for young players entering into summer league, that let's just say your only shot at making it to the league is being a scorer. What was your mentality before, let's say, like the first game? Like, was it like, you know what, I'm getting it up? You know what I mean? Especially heading into the next to a new situation. It's just like, because I always say, man, you got to give yourself a chance to be successful. Like, you know what I mean? You better off going 0 for 12 than, like, you know what I mean, 1 for 2.
Yeah, thanks. Man, my mindset transferring to Golden State is crazy because I end up coming late. I can't remember exactly what happened. I don't know if my flight got in late or they had an early game or something like that, but I remember coming into the game and I only played the fourth quarter because I don't think I had any practice time with them. And the game was close. I ended up coming down and making 2 clutch free throws to help us win the game. And that was my first game. So I didn't get a lot of time to really think of what I needed to do. Obviously, man, coming out of college, all of us were scorers. Like, just keep it a buck. So, what else can I do to help the team? And my mindset was obviously don't show what you can do, show what got you here, which is shooting the ball. But at the same time, man, try to do something defensively, do something different. Like being able to take pride in guarding your man or at least guarding your yard, man, plays dividends in the league. And everybody, like, I'm sure you guys know that. So, man, my mindset was just, man, play hard, and whatever else was going to happen was going to happen anyway. That's how I kind of looked at it, man, and kind of took the pressure off myself of not having to make a play every single time or do something spectacular. It was more so, man, just play the right way of basketball. And I learned that, obviously, 4 years at Belmont. So,
was there ever a time throughout the summer league process where you were like, all right, you got your plan or your mentality, where your plan kind of wavered, or I guess your confidence maybe might have wavered during the summer league? And if so, how did you get back to, like, this is what I'm here to do? I'm sticking to what I set out to do.
Man, it wavered a few times because, I had a couple games where I just didn't play well. And for me, myself, like, it's a short opportunity for undrafted guys coming from a mid-major. Like, you don't have time to have lapses or, like 1 or 2 bad games. That could definitely be the end. So the game before, actually, the game before the championship game, I think we played the Lakers. Shout out to Lester Hudson. He's from Memphis, Memphis product, man. He actually played against me that game. So it's one of my first time really playing against him competitively. But I played that game and I had a terrible game. Like, didn't shoot it well. I felt myself forcing, and we ended up winning and played the championship game. We played Phoenix in the championship, and I remember telling myself, like, you can't shoot that bad again. Like, that was my, I was scared, nervous, not scared. I was more nervous of, all right, man, look, this is a championship. This is a stage you could make a name for yourself, or you could just be another guy that's an undrafted guy that played well, and now you got to figure it out after this. So, man, I went out early. I remember going out early in warm-ups and just, man, getting a lot of shots up and just telling myself, man, like, you gonna kill this game. You gonna kill this game. And, man, end up having like 7 trays, had like 33, man. And shout out to Coach Aaron. The folks gave me the confidence. They were just like, man, shoot it. Kent Bazemore, let it fly. Like, that was kind of our motto throughout that whole game and that whole run, man. And it was fun, honestly. And like I said, I was able to bounce back from that game. So that's kind of one of the times that it wavered. But other than that, man, I was really just soaking up all the everything that I was going through. I was in Vegas. I was going around all these NBA guys. I got a chance to play in the NBA. I got a chance to prove myself, too, against a lot of the guys that they said was better than me. And that's one thing that I took pride over, for sure.
Man, one thing you said scared first. And I feel like like as hoopers, we always are like, nah, I'm not scared. I'm not scared.
Facts.
But I feel like most of us really do be afraid. Like everybody afraid of failure and all that, right? And I remember Kobe talked about like leaning into those emotions and
Facts.
feelings. You know what I'm saying? So for both of y'all, like what's a more effective way? Is it important to lean into those feelings and just accept you have them, or is it more important just to keep feeding yourself positivity? Like you said, you were saying, I'm gonna kill this game. I'm gonna kill this game. Like, or
Man,
is it both?
I think it's a little bit of both, man. You got to have that false sense of confidence. I think everybody has it as a hooper, but at the same time, you got to be real with yourself. And it's crazy that you brought that up, man, because that's something over the last like few years, watching Kobe talk about that in one of the interviews I saw. It was like I wish I would have known that back then. You know what I mean? Like it was so I'm keeping them balling up. I'm not gonna tell nobody I'm scared, but I'm feeling like this rather than accepting it. All right, you scared? Why you scared? Ask yourself why you scared, and then from there you can analyze it and break it down. And I was like, okay, well, shoot, I really ain't scared of nothing. If I'm scared because I don't think I'm ready, well, let's prepare. Let me prepare myself. Let me go out and shoot extra before and after practice, so I can get the fear, saying out of me. So that's kind of how I looked at it.
Yeah, I think a lot of times too, man. It just comes down to your thoughts about things that haven't even happened yet. Like, you know what I mean? We scared, like, all right, I might go out here and go 0 for 8, but you 0 for 0. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that, a lot of times, we play like a lot of mind games with ourselves heading into games. But, I always, anytime I was in that situation, I used to always ask myself, how do you want to feel at the end of this game? Do you want to go to the end of this game and feel like, oh, I ain't do enough because I was like hesitant or whatever it is, or do I want to go out to the end of this game and be like, okay, whether I shoot 10 for 12 or 2 for 12, like I gave myself a chance. You know what I mean? So
Thanks.
I used to use the thought of like, okay, how do I want to feel when it's all said and done? What would I rather feel? And then I would let that kind of dictate my aggression.
That's dope.
See, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do the whole how I want to feel at the end of the game because if I tell myself like if I shoot 2 for 12, I'm gonna be hot. So I'm gonna be like, damn, like, yeah, I shot 12. I'm gonna be fucking hot. So
Man,
I always had to. No, I always yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm going off. I feel you the same thing. Kind of looking, man. Most recently, going back to playing in Australia, championship game, and I was like 0 for 5 the first half. The first half, like, and I sat down and it's crazy because I used that mentality. Like, how do you want to think going back in the second half? You going back second half mad because you went 0 for 5, or second half like this is a clean slate and you still got a chance to win the game and end up like 4 for 5 or 5 in the second half, and saying the whole game changed for me personally. Like, because I was looking at it like, damn, man, like I'm having a shitty game, and now saying you can flip the script on yourself. So kind of like what Ant said, man, it's like I'm 0 for 5, but like if I don't shoot, I'm just still gonna be 0 for 5. So I'm still gonna feel the same. So how can I feel like find a way to feel different? And I think this is just it's the process of just keep going for real.
Hey, and Jake, that's kind of like what we was talking about off air earlier. It's like, I don't know, maybe I just got an aggressive personality, man, but I'm a volume shooter in every aspect of life. I don't care if it's my single life. I don't care if it's business. I don't care if it's basketball. Like, I just rather not go to sleep. And I've had games. I had days where I went to sleep like, man, I played it too safe, or I played it safe. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that made me lose sleep more than like a bad day.
A bad game.
I know there's gonna be days where, you know what I mean, you do everything right, you still gonna miss everything. You know what I mean? And vice versa. Like, so I just think that, life just works out better when you're aggressive, you know what I mean, and everything.
I feel like you can live with yourself if you're aggressive. You know what I mean? Like I can go, like you said, you can go to sleep at night knowing that, all right, they just won't fall in today, but these are shots that I took that I know I can get to that I normally make all the time. So, man, that's the mindset to have, I feel like.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fortune favors the bold. It definitely do. But I mean, I think playing it safe too. I think that you kind of realize the older you get. Like you said, we all 30 plus now. You kind of realize these opportunities, like you said, as an undrafted guy, these opportunities are fleeting, you know,
Man,
especially as a hooper, but in life, you think you got multiple opportunities, and you think that they just gonna keep coming and come, especially as a young man. You know what I'm saying? We all think we invincible, whatever it is. But like even a summer league, it's like, damn, you got 6 games. Those games go by like this,
like
and it's
that,
like you
man.
look back on it, they go by like that,
And you
and
wish
it
like,
seems in
damn,
the moment
game
like,
one I should have did this, or you know what I mean?
yeah. And then your mind, like you having a whole therapy session out in Vegas, all these women out here, you know what I'm saying, all these things to do. You, you having a whole Dr. Phil therapy session with yourself, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
So
facts.
it is, it's an interesting topic. I think it's always interesting to share those type of things with the younger generation of hoopers. But um, you know, that being said, you've had an opportunity to be around now, both younger and obviously you got a chance to win a championship with the Warriors. And one thing we wanted to talk about, man, is winning culture is such like a hot button thing now, and I think you have a unique perspective. You know, obviously contributing to a championship, but also not being Steph Curry on a championship team. I feel like your perspective might be a little bit different. So to you, what does it take to win? Because you've won at the NBA level, you've won at the international level. What is it? What are the things that your biggest takeaways from winning environments, winning cultures?
Man, that's crazy because the one thing that I talked about when I first got to Australia, and they asked me, you know, how does this team compare to, you know, playing with the Warriors, and as far as winning, and it was just like it's culture, man, it's personnel who you have around you, and I think that it's a big sense of selflessness that I think everybody has to have on the team. And I think that those two key components, man, other than obviously you got to be a good team and be well coached and everything like that. But as far as just personnel, if you got the right guys if everybody on the same page with the same goal and have the same attitude, man, um, and can be held accountable. Like those things, I feel like are the recipe for a winning culture. We had that in Golden State where, you know, if it didn't matter if it was KD or it was me or James McAdoo, like it was, hey man, like if you ain't doing something right, somebody gonna get called out for it. And we didn't. It wasn't a lot of favoritism, obviously, and there could be. We got 2 MVPs on the team. You got guys that already won a championship. You know what I mean? Guys is making X amount of dollars. And you know how that goes, hierarchy and everything like that. But at the same time, man, like we all wanted to win, and it could be. I use this example like KD, Steph, Clay, Dre, like all them guys could have came down and shot any shot they wanted to over double teams, triple teams, anything, but they were looking for the extra pass. Like, and for me, a role guy, if I'm coming down the court and KD got the ball and he getting double teamed and he swing it to me, like you got the confidence in me to shoot that shot. So now that only makes our team better, and I think that's what we had with that 17 team, and also with this past year when in Sydney, like we just had guys that were selfless, man, and we just wanted to win, and everybody put their head down and work toward that common goal.
Hey, I know it's a different scenario, but how hard is it to fight when you're in an environment like that, and it's like that's another opportunity, right? Playing on an NBA champion team, and you get on the court. Obviously, you ain't playing 30 minutes a game. How hard is it to fight that urge? Like, yo, I gotta get my 8, 10 shots up. You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on,
Look,
man, you
I'm trying
saying
to
it,
get paid. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to
you
get
know,
paid
like
too. I want this ring. But
man, you can't you have to humble yourself. That's what I say. You got to humble yourself, man. It's like you want to come out there and you want to start. You want to star in your role. I would say. And for me, man, I just tried to star in my role. Like one thing is that I tried to work on because there were times where my minutes were sporadic, and you know Steve would put me in, you know, at the end of the first quarter, or sometimes I wouldn't see the court. My first time coming in was the back end of the second quarter, and then I would start the
Mhm.
third or things like that. So man, I tried to work on just being ready at all times. Like I would come into practice cold and I would shoot 100 threes. That's the first thing I would do because there were times where it paid off where Steve would throw me in the game cold, and you know how it is, man. The ball gonna find you. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
ain't played dog. Everybody else has been running up and down. They broke a sweat. You coming off cold, and the ball finds you first possession. You wide open. You got to be able to make the shot. Because if you don't, somebody else would. You know what I'm saying? All right, man. He not ready to play. Let's put somebody else in that's ready to play. And I never wanted to be the guy that wasn't ready. So little stuff like that. But like you said, man, coming in, you want to. I had times where, man, if I was rocking, like I felt like they let me in and they let me rock, I would run off, 10, 12 points. But at the same time, there were times where, I would have one shot when I'm on the court, and then I'm coming out because I'm getting subbed out for Clay. And obviously Clay is the starter, so he coming in, he gonna get his minutes regardless. It's what can I do to keep us at a high level until the starter get back in. So you got to play with it, man. It was tough. It was tough, but also like it was fun because, as you know, winning makes everything better. We win in games. You look over the games where you only shot 1 or 2 times, and you magnify the games that you played well. And that's kind of how my mindset was. So it was definitely tough, man. And I don't think that everybody is capable of doing that. Like in the sense of, it takes a special guys to be like, all right, man, I'm taking the back seat. I want to sit here. When you're trying to make a name for yourself, you're trying to get paid. Like it's tough, but you make winning the ultimate thing, man. And everything else to take care of itself.
Yeah, I think I remember like back in the day, my high school coach he was telling me about Casey Jacobson, and he was like real close with Casey, and I think he told me like when Casey was in the league, as he was working out, sometimes he would take breaks in his workout and he would just go sit down for a bit. Just so he would get used to like sitting down, body temperature cooling off, whatever it is, and then he'd have to go right back into shooting and catching the rhythm and stuff like that because, he just felt like it mimicked more so like his role when he was in the league, like coming off the bench and then just having to be ready right away. However true that was, I don't know, but I think that it is important, man, like, as you said earlier, we were all scorers at one point, and then your role adjusts depending on what kind of team you on. Mm-hmm. And like now, you got to figure out like, all right, I'm coming off of the bench. Like, how am I going to be successful in this new role? Especially, I think from going from a starter to coming off of the bench, like, it's 2 different mentalities, man. You ain't touched the rock since warm-ups, like, come on, man. Especially you coming in the end of the first, early second, like, you know what I mean?
I just sat for
that might feel like a football.
Minutes. Facts. You just sat down for 45 minutes, man. You try to get the timeouts. You asking the ref for the ball so you can feel it, dribble it, fake shoot, all of that, man. You gotta. It's you playing with your mind a little bit, but that's the stuff you gotta do, man. To, like you're saying, to stay ready. Like, and that was my mindset. I knew that I was going. It's spur of the moment. It could be. Sometimes I didn't get thrown in until the third quarter, the first time, and it's like, but it's like I feel like the coaching staff, they expecting you to do something still. It don't matter if you've been sitting for an hour and a half, man. You out there to play. You out there to be ready to play. That's what they told me. You don't get paid to play. You get paid to be ready to play. And so, man, that was my mindset to get ready.
Shit. The way my back set up, I sit down. We going home. Ain't no sitting down. Man. It is over. It is over. But no, it's dope to hear you talk about the mental side. Like, I think one of the things, a guy, especially such as yourself, like, probably don't get talked about nearly enough, but even a guy like Draymond, like, he's probably not, he probably ain't the most talented, but his ability to, to take on that role, mentally be like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get something done, like, those type of people are special. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like those type of people just figure out their situations, not with talent, yourself, it's with talent, but talent might not be the thing, but that mental fortitude or toughness, whatever you want to call it, is a special skill to have. And I think, to hear you kind of talk about the ways to develop that is interesting. But,
So. Yo, JT, so what makes let's talk about like your career as a point guard. Like what was like the toughest situation you had to be in as a point guard in regards to whether it been personnel fit or expectations? What was one of the toughest situations you were in regards to something that was like completely outside of your game or whatever it is?
From simply a basketball perspective?
Yeah.
Oh man. Honestly, it's summer league. It's summer league for me. Like that's the toughest thing because for me it's like, I control games. Like that's what I do. I can get hot. I can go score, 20, 25 if it happens. But for me, it's like to just roll the ball out and just go, shoot 10, 15 times and, just put them up. That's not me. Like, that's not even – and I have an aggressive personality, to be honest. Like, but it's like as a basketball player, that's just not me. Like, so summer league, like, those things that you talked about, being able to come off the bench in the third quarter. Like, you have to be able to just roll the ball out and, yo, let's get to it. Like, no, ain't really no, you have to create your own rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm such a rhythm guy. Like, for me, I need those 25, 30 minutes to, you know, let me feel this game out. Let me see how guys are playing the pick and roll, how guys are guarding these down screens. Like, so for me, that was probably the biggest challenge. But what about you?
Me?
Yeah, both of y'all.
Go ahead, Ian.
Man, I'm the same way. Like, I feel like I'm a rhythm guy. Like, I like to get in and see how the defense is playing, man. See how the pace of the game and where I can be effective, where I can get a shot off, where I can make a play. And I guess one of my mindsets too was also like the big adjustment is like not thinking if I didn't shoot the ball, how can I still make an impact? Like, so it was whether it's not turning the ball over, whether it's getting a steal or two, getting a rebound or two, or making a swing to somebody to get the momentum going. Something like that, man, was ways that I would boost my own self-confidence knowing that I did something positive out there on the floor, whether if I didn't score. Because for me, scoring was the bonus. Like, all right, y'all know I'm going to get these. I'm going to hit a couple trays. Like, you know what I'm saying, in this little 5 to 7 minutes, what you going to get from me? Like, and that's why I try to play like the little small game, the game within the game. I try to play a little mind game with myself. It's like, all right, if you do something positive out here, then it's a win for you this game, no matter how many minutes you play. So,
that makes sense. I think like one situation I remember being in was way back when I was it was the DLeague at the time, but I left Fort Wayne and went to Dakota, and new situation coming on the bench, and obviously like this is early in my career. I'm like, I gotta have like a great year. Like I'm not for this bench talk. So it was just like, I remember thinking before the first game, I was like, all right, coach is probably going to give me like 10 minutes. I'm probably going to get 2 shots in 10 minutes. Like, I got to at least go 1 for 2, if not 2 for 2. You know what I'm saying? And I remember even the practices leading up to that, I would always think of my shots during practice in sets of 2s or 4s. Like, okay, these next 4 shots, like, let me make sure I'm hitting 3 out of the next 4 shots. And putting that pressure on myself, like, I was taking the little pull up, like I was taking like I wasn't trying to rhythm dribble late clock, like nah, I'm gonna get the right one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's like I got my 2 shots, and then I got 15 minutes, and now I was getting 4 shots. You going 2 for 4, 3 for 4, and then I started getting more and more time, and I ended up starting and had a great year and stuff like that. But I think that was kind of like my first time, like pretty much not starting since like middle school. You know what I'm saying? And, I really had to look at it from a professional aspect. Like, I need to get on court so I can have a career. And then, from there, it's just like, all right, let me maintain this good season that I'm having. So, but yeah, it used to come down to practice, man. I used to really like think about minutes, shots, and what I needed to make to stay on.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I used to love late clock shots because I feel like they don't count. Like, I feel it's most ass back.
Get them off. Yeah, thanks.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you miss, it's like, hey, man, y'all shouldn't. Why y'all put me in that situation?
Y'all threw me the ball.
Like,
you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
but then you got that dude that had a ball with 12 seconds left, act like he looking for somebody, see the clock, like, I gotta shoot it.
Yeah,
like, no,
exactly.
You wanted to shoot it, bro. Like, you wanted that. You looked everybody off. You wanted that one.
You wanted your 1-4 low ISO, dog. You wanted that.
Nah, do y'all feel like that? Ian, what you touched on is kind of like creating those positive plays for yourself to get yourself going. You know what I'm saying? Y'all feel like that's gone from? You feel like that's leaving basketball or youth basketball? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people now, it's about getting the bucket. It's about getting, which it always is, always has been. It's about getting the bucket. But do you feel like that mentality that you just brought is leaving the game at all?
I think personally, I think so a little bit, just because it's different, man. Like social media and how you can look like an all-star player because you look like you putting up buckets. It's like, what else are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Throughout the game, I'm only seeing you score. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like younger kids now that do have the mindset of doing other things, I feel like those are the ones that we would see excel more than the guys that kind of like. I mean, we all know the guys that we grew up with that was a bucket, but then when they got to a point where everybody was a bucket with them, could they still perform. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we kind of seeing now. We got all these kids that's getting their content pushed out, which is good. Like I'm happy for them. I want you to get the exposure, but it's to understand like it's the difference between knowing how to hoop and knowing how to play basketball. You know what I mean? And I think that guys get capped hooping, and it's like, all right, they too far behind learning the basketball side of it, and guys that have it figured out, man, other guys is gonna excel. So
Yeah, I think too. Like, I just always think it's important to look at the ways in which you're scoring. Like, how many times you're scoring off cuts? You know, what are you getting?
man, easy bucket.
Yeah, like just offensive rebounds, like little things like that, man, I think make all the difference, man. And I think it's something simple like, you know, I mean, even like I've had times where I focus on like, man, I need to sprint a little faster in transition. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because that 1 or 2 steps is the difference between a bucket help side or
Man.
you having to pass the rock.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's like those first 2 steps. So I think that like youth sports today, like, yeah, they see like, you know, the Jordan Taylor late clock pull-ups and stuff like that. But like, you know, there's so many other parts of the game, man, that really just get left out, man. And I think that, you know, we don't really glorify those enough. But I think the real recognize real, man. I mean, the higher level colleges and obviously once you get to the pros and stuff like that, they're looking at the whole picture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's just the kids that just don't see it.
Man, to piggyback on what you just said, man, like finding cuts and running hard and stuff like that. I'll be trying to tell some of these guys, man, you see some of these workouts and it's dribble, 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 dribble before they shoot. And it's like, man, you look at a lot of the guys, like obviously it's take it with a grain of salt. We talking about unicorns, you talking about KDs and stuff like that, but you watch them, man, and it's 1 dribble, 2 dribble pull up. Like they efficient with their moves. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that that's one of the things that I feel like is getting left behind in the game. It's like, man, you could average 25 and man, Clay did it with 9 dribbles. You know what I mean? Like little stuff like that. And he was just moving and cutting. And speaking of what you're saying, and like I feel like that's the thing that's lost, man. It's like everybody wants to show them getting a tough bucket, and the easy bucket is actually what you need to be striving for. Make the game easier for yourself. It don't always have to be hard.
So let me ask y'all this: to hearing that, and obviously KD, someone like KD, Kyrie, universally some of the greatest scorers of all time. Is Karl Malone just as good of a scorer as them? A dude who runs the floor, he cut, you know what I'm saying? He getting layups, he post up, pick and pop. You know what I'm saying? Is he just as good of a scorer as KD? Or should he be recognized as such?
I think he just did it in a different way. Like you can, first of all, the numbers don't lie. He didn't shoot a lot of trades and man got 35,000+ points. Like, you know what I mean? He was doing something right. Whether he was just making shots, then we can call him a shooter. But I think that he's just as good of a scorer as somebody you can say, like, in today's game now, you're talking Giannis. Giannis don't shoot a lot, or he didn't shoot it. But Giannis dominates because he knows what he's good at. I'm just going to keep, until y'all stop it, I'm going to go take 3 dribbles and dunk on everybody on your team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, little stuff like that. So I think that it's a give and a take. Guys doing it different ways. And I think that, like you said, the real recognize real. The real going to prevail. And Karl Malone was one of those people that knew what he could do well and excelled at it.
Yo, and it goes back. For real, like it goes back to what we was talking about a couple of weeks ago, man. It's like that IQ portion is like huge. I mean, we've all played with players like got a world of skill, but like he just takes bad shots or whatever it may be. And it's like, man, you got to have the IQ to know which of your skills is going to help you be successful, you know, in whatever your role is. And I think that, man, like having the IQ, you look at somebody like a Karl Malone or like a Giannis, like, yeah, he's going to look terrible if he's out there trying to, like, you know, cross people over and, you know, shoot these fadeaways. But, you know what I mean, Karl Malone do that face up and, you know,
jab.
Body around. Yeah, that jab with his little elbows out.
Man, what?
You know what I mean?
Cash in your face.
All that. So you know who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
No, man, that's dope. Hey, man, one thing I heard you talk about a lot so far is preparedness and just being ready to take on whatever comes your way and how important that is to you. And I know you worked out a lot this summer in a workout group with guys like Darius Garland, Jordan Bone, like real high-level hoopers, right? So just kind of talk about how important it is to work out with guys and compete with guys like that on a daily basis.
Man, that's big. Shout out to J Bone and DG, man. Shout out to Jamal Richardson, man. AG basketball, and my guys back in Nashville doing a great job. Man, it want to keep me young. I'm gonna call it a bucket, call it a spade, man. If I feel like I'm 30 plus, man. If I'm out here still running up and down the court with 22, 23 year olds, 24, I feel like I'm doing pretty good for myself. But at the same time, man, like it's just a new generation, and you find guys at a high level that can score and are magicians with the basketball in so many different ways, man. I'm speaking about DG in general. I mean, in specifics. Man, he's hard to guard. You know what I mean? Like, and it's basketball. I feel like it doesn't have an age limit, and I'm saying that in regards of. And I don't know, he only probably don't even know this. So when he see this, man, like I learned from DG so much throughout the summertime when we playing. You know what I mean? Like and I'm not even really asking him, but just watching things that he do and kind of seeing what he thinking in this part of the pick and roll, or why he made this pass, or or how he getting his defender off of him. You know what I mean? Like little stuff like that is stuff that I try to pick up on, like around like a different players that I play with or against or I train with. And man, I think it helps you. You know what I mean? Full circle. I might be helping him in some ways that he's not telling me, and it's vice versa. So being able to be around high level talent, man, and it can only help your game. And I think that working out by yourself can only do so much. And you just need to be in an environment where you're around people that might be better than you in certain aspects of your game. Like, you know what I mean? That can only help you get better. So that's what I take from that every summer.
Yeah, I seen them. I remember back in the day they sent this footage from y'all open gyms. It was you, DG. I think J Bone was in there. A couple other guys was up in there.
Rob Covington,
we got a lot of Rob Covington. Yeah, he was up in there. And man, it looked like a great run and stuff, man. But I mean, it really looked like, one thing I took from it is it looked like guys were like going hard, like the fast breaks. It looked like guys was running like 0 to 100. Like it looked intense on tape. And I remember thinking like, because I'm blanking on the videographer's name that sent it over from Slam, but
Ryan Givens.
Ryan Givens, that's right.
My dog.
Ryan sent it over. I was like, man, did he speed this up? I remember thinking that, like,
man,
I was like, is this on fast forward?
Man, it's one clip that he got, man. It was my first time. That was during the pandemic, actually. And I was going back and forth between Memphis and Nashville. So, like, in Memphis, we had the runs. My trainer, Javante Holmes, man, shout out to my dog. He trained like Will Barton and Lester and Kennedy Chandler, like little guys like that. And so we hooping, and just like they were asking me, man, like which ones you like better? And it was crazy because we couldn't do nothing else. Everything was shut down. You could really barely get in gyms for real. They weren't really trying to let people in gyms, especially a whole lot of people at once. So saying what you're saying, man, them runs was intensified. Like guys cared if they won or not. Like guys didn't want to be sitting down. And going back to that, one of them games, man, it's my first time playing with DG and against him, and I'm guarding him, and he hit me with like 3 hezzies. And I'm sitting down, and he hit me with the last one, and I bite. And I'm like, damn, like I'm pissed off because I let this little get me on hezzy. Like I ain't trying to look foolish out here, man. I know it's gonna be on everything online, what I'm saying, stuff like that, but saying that to say, man, that's how like guys actually care. We cared about winning. We obviously we didn't want to hurt each other, but man, we pushed each other. We competed, man, and this shit was fun. Like that was one of the best times I think that we had. Obviously, pandemic wise, it was bad, but during that time, as far as basketball, man, I feel like it got back to being pure. And guys just, man, you saw the guys that really wanted to come to the gym that actually wanted to hoop, rather than just showing up just because they felt like they had to.
Yeah, that's heavy. I mean, it sounds like y'all down there, you got a good group of guys down there, man. So we kind of want to take that opportunity for you to shout out GHGG, let us know what that's about, and just kind of give us the rundown on that.
Man, this company I started, man, with my homies back at home, Grind Hard Gang Green. That's the name. And like I said, it's basically a lifestyle brand, man. We trying to use our examples in our lifestyle to kind of, man, spread awareness and give motivation to other people that are in our same situations. Me personally, I'm in sports, so being able to share my knowledge or gift or help as many people that I have that are watching me and following me through my sport. And I show them by grinding hard, you can gain whatever green that you want to get, whether it's money, whether it's opportunity, whether it's, connecting with people and doing real estate, whatever it is, man, whatever you want to make your green, it's the goal. The green is the goal. That's what you're trying to obtain. And you grinding is the work. You have to put in the work to get your goal. And that's kind of the message that we want to get out, man. And we starting with merch. We actually got a hat collection dropping pretty soon. So I'll keep y'all updated about that, man. But it's been fun, obviously being first time, like kind of starting something from the ground up, and doing it with guys that I grew up with back at home. We all in different the areas of our lives, whether it's music. I got guys in fashion, guys in videography, guys in tech, things like that, man. And it's just trying to all come together, man. Obviously, we black men trying to do something positive for the city of Memphis and around the world, honestly. So it's what it is.
That's love. That's love, man. That's love. Congratulations to you on that and all that. It's a beanie, or what kind of hat? What kind of hat collection?
Man, we got dad caps, we got beanies, we got snapbacks, man, and it's just got different logos. We got our logo is the big G and this hourglass. Hourglass represents time. Obviously, we just talked about before, man. You think you have all of the time in the world to do things, and it's like you really don't. So it's like maximizing the time that you have, man, to get things done. You know what I mean? And not taking it for granted. So we got different designs, man, different colorways, and it's kind of a new design that we kind of putting out now, putting out to the public. So man, it's gonna be dope, man. I'm excited about it. And like I said, man, I get you guys some gear, man, that y'all represent, man. Hopefully, guys, I know y'all guys. I feel like, man, watching y'all, man, it's the same thing. Y'all, man, y'all doing something every day to get to a goal. We all are, you know what I'm saying, and being able to share that amongst common people. Like I wanted to make sure that it was organic in the sense of, I wanted to reach out to people that I saw that was, thinking, having the same mindset as me. You know what I mean? And mindset is us as a group. And being able to reach out to them and show them, man, I see you, I see what you're doing, and we're doing the same thing. Let's try to win together. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing I want to put out.
No, I think that's dope, man. Especially like, obviously with the resume that you have, and then trying to make an impact, back in your community, while you're still hooping, man. I think it's so important, man. And I remember seeing it in Seattle. One of my college teammates, he's from Seattle, and I just remember as we were going through college and even like the early years of professional, like I saw how much, Jason Terry and Jamal Crawford and all those guys gave back to, IT and a bunch of the other younger guys, and then they paid it forward to the next generation, and they just kind of just grew this entire community of basketball players. And I think that, like, man, I think if every, if Memphis did it, if Chicago did it, if LA, if all the hoopers just got together and gave back to the youth, in positive ways, man, I think it could really uplift the sport on, and then most importantly off the court, man. Like, because kids got to make better decisions, man, and they just, a lot of times you just need somebody to kind of show you the way, or shed some light on what the way might be. You know what I'm saying?
Man, facts. That's exactly, man, what I'm getting to a point of understanding, like my impact, my platform. Like I've never tried to be bigger than who I am. I've never been that person. So like I always came with a humble kind of attitude, but sometimes I feel like I'm blocking somebody else's blessing if I don't share what I've learned, and what I'm saying, give that knowledge out and give it back. So being able to have try to be that person in my city, because I didn't have it a lot. Like I talked to Penny here and there, not more so when I got older, but not when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I really didn't have nobody, an NBA player or a professional, kind of telling me this is what you're supposed to do. I just thought, I'm gonna go to high school, I'm gonna go to college, and I'm gonna go to the NBA. Like that was my mindset growing up. You know what I mean? You never know the obstacles and the politics of playing AAU basketball, or getting recruitment letters and how it works, and playing D1, D2, 3. Like it's so much more layers that come that unfold the older you get, and the more you're not ignorant to, how the world really is. So being able to be a positive influence as much as I can, man, whether it's just, man, I hit somebody up and you call, I said, man, I got an open line. You hit me up if you need to talk about anything basketball wise. Like that's what I try to do to the youth back at home. and hopefully, man, that it can go a long way, and more people coming up out of the city that become pros like myself that are younger than me. They end up doing the same thing, and now it's just a recurring cycle, man. And we making everybody get better. So.
Man, it's dope to hear you talk about that with such passion too, man. Like you talk about that
Man.
like it's hoop for real, and that's special for real. Like that's big time. So shout out to you for real, and congrats on seeing the value in that, man. That's a beautiful thing for real. So, but man, so yeah, we gonna obviously spend a lot of time in the NBA, and now you have these other passions, and you've taken your game international to Sydney. So I kind of want to talk. There's been a lot of talk lately, man, about is Europe catching, that conversation come back every now and again. Is Europe catching the U.S. and yada, yada, yada. The Adelaide 36ers just beat the Suns yesterday. I know it was one of your opponents last year. So I guess first let's talk about what that means. What's the Adelaide 36ers, not the 76ers, the Adelaide 36ers beating the Phoenix Suns. Talk about what that means for basketball, international basketball, and the caliber of international basketball players.
Man, I think it's big for the NBL. I think it's big for international basketball all over, man. Obviously, everybody knows that the NBA is the highest level. So anything from another team, if getting a win or something like that, is going to magnify because of how great the NBA is. But I think that, man, it's talent everywhere. That's what I would say. And you got guys that, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in Australia, China, you know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of guys that can play basketball at a high level. And just because you're not in the NBA doesn't mean that you're not an NBA caliber player or you can't play at that level. And the more and more we see it, man, I think teams are becoming unafraid. We talked about having that fear factor. Like, I don't think 36ers came in there scared of Phoenix. I think they was like, man, that's what we got. Let's swing for the fences. What we got to lose. You know what I mean? And obviously, they came out and put on a show, man. It was dope. But I think that international players are getting better. I think that there's credit to the game. I think it's just growing exponentially. I think guys are just getting better. Guys are understanding the game better. And, they putting in the use, man. And shout out to them. Shout out to a lot of guys I played against on that team, man. They got a stacked team, 36. They ain't no joke. I think they're going to be a big deal in the NBL this year. So shout out to them, man. It was a big win for them.
Man, that being said, and you was at EuroBasket, so we got to get to, is an all-Europe team competing with an all-USA team in a 7-game series? 12-man roster, not 5 guys. So, I mean, for those, if we gotta call it out, we got, obviously, for Europe, you got Jokic, you got Luka, you got Giannis, Bogdanoviches, you got Lauri Markkanen, Bo Cruz.
You putting Joel Embiid in there? You putting him in there?
Nah, he just said he just got the U.S. citizenship, didn't he? So he
did. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought he was trying to play for France, right, or something like that.
Yeah, they did. At one point he was. I don't know if he's still, but nah, Embiid ain't in there. And then obviously with the U.S. You got what was you waving your finger for? Who I forget?
Bro, nah, I'm just saying like all Europe.
He's saying no.
No. You just saying nah, it's dead.
Bro. Like all USA team. Like, come on, man. We're not gonna do that. But I mean, I think if you're playing with European rules, they have a chance to win some games. But if we're talking a 7-game series, like, I mean, just the length and athleticism alone, you know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't think.
Now,
it'll be close.
Are we talking the best European players, or are you talking about just a team in Europe against an NBA team? Or are you talking about like
the best
European
players? Yep, best European players versus the best American players.
I don't know, man. What you think, man?
Okay, but look. All right, look. Everybody's getting all hype and excited about the first 5, right? The first 5 European players. Everybody's excited. Let's talk about that next 5 versus the next American 5. Let's talk about the second quarter. Let's talk about the second quarter.
We got to keep that in motion for sure. That's definitely a big factor for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about what's gonna happen 3 minutes left in the third. When them reserves come in. Like,
you got somebody like Kyrie coming playing against the second string. It's like, oh man, that ain't fair.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. I think that we obviously, man, just it's something about just basketball in the U.S. that the talent wise, man, is just people they still trying. I don't think they're far. I don't think Europe is far off, but I still think that we still have an edge right now. I would say, honestly,
because they don't have the athletes. Europe just doesn't have the athletes that the NBA has. They have enough guys that can shoot. They got enough guys that can pass and can play smart.
Smart.
But in regards to just the athletes, that level of athleticism is just absent in Europe. Like you have one every now and then. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
like Giannis, but outside of Giannis.
And also them guys been playing since they were 13, 14, 15, 16 as pros. You know what I mean? Like, we going to college, you know what I'm saying? It's a different, I feel like it's a different mindset.
So what's the series? What's the series there? 4-0?
Nah, I say 6. I go 6. 6, maybe 7. I'll probably say 6.
I say 6 is the max. If it's European rules, I think it goes 5 or 6 games. If we playing NBA rules, I think it might be over in 4.
See, all right. So
here's where, okay.
It's 4.
What about you, Jay? What you thinking?
It's 4, and here's where I'm about to start. I'm about to go. Here's what I got to say. You said the next 5, right? This is why European basketball, international basketball, will never catch American basketball. Like, shout out Luka, Jokic, Giannis. Those dudes are amazing. They're great. Even Lauri Markkanen, those class of guys, they great. They're amazing players. But you take a dude like a Jordan Taylor, an Anthony Goods, or Ian Clark, and take their European counterpart, and what do? Where do they play? Like just like what are they even basketball players? Like if you had to make a ranking of U.S. basketball players in a ranking, are they even basketball?
So if you were ranking like Jordan Taylor, Anthony Goods on a scale of like all the American basketball players, and then you line us up with like all the European basketball players. So like let's just say I'm the 1,000th greatest player. The 1,000th greatest player in Europe he belongs in high school.
High school? Nah, fam.
He's probably playing high school basketball.
Nah, fam.
He belongs in high school. That's crazy.
That man working at the Luke Oil. He at the gas station. No disrespect. Nothing wrong working at a gas station. That's love. But he's not hooping. So, like, you can't just take the top 3 guys and say European basketball, or top 10 guys and say European basketball is catching up. And on top of that, if European basketball or whatever was catching up, then you would get rid of every single rule that exists to give Europeans an advantage. There should be no rule on how many foreigners are allowed in each league. There should be no stipulation on, well, if you play with FIBA rules, that you got to make all these stipulations to compete. You can't compete. And it's not close.
That's true.
And people got to stop doing that. It's just a handicap. Like, stop. You can't handicap yourself and then say, oh, well, we caught up. Like, no, you're not. You just lying.
Yeah.
You just lie, and it's nonsense. And and y'all know just as well as anybody else, Ian, you probably know better than anybody, there is somewhat of an international agenda in the NBA right now. Like there's an international agenda, a business agenda to get international guys.
It's a business agenda for sure.
So on top, I mean, the Warriors themselves just came out and said that they wanted Yuta Baba, who's a Japanese player, to come to training camp with them solely for the purpose of getting the Japanese market because it's the 3rd biggest economy.
I think he played for Melbourne last year in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yep. He played for Melbourne, and whoever it was, the business guy in the Warriors came out in the article said he wanted that. So on top of that, international guys are getting slotted or unsaid slotted spots in the NBA now at this point too. So it's like, to me, being an international basketball player might be the easiest thing to be in all the basketball, maybe sports.
Oh, straight up, man. Listen. I ain't got no kids. But if I had a kid, I'm going overseas. I'm going overseas for the first 14 years of his life, and he's taking performance-enhancing drugs. Then we're gonna wean him off of that for 1 year.
This man gonna come at Jack.
He gonna be a crazy athlete, man. Because once you got that international tag and you got a level of athleticism, I mean, that's why so many players from France are in the league. You know what I mean? And they're not all of them aren't even that good enough to stay in the league, but like they got the athleticism. They from Europe, et cetera, et cetera. Like it looks like their game should fit. You know what I'm saying? But
it's a potential thing too. It's like he could be.
Right.
He got all the tools. He long, he athletic, he could probably guard multiple positions, but it's like, does he know basketball? You know what I mean? Like, can he? how he gonna perform when he with all these grown men that's really that's gonna look at him like lunch meat. Like that's food. You know what I mean? So I feel like the mentality is something that obviously that gives us an edge too. Like where guys coming from. You know what I'm saying? Where how you grew up, you take that chip on your shoulder, man, and you apply it to basketball rather than somebody just doing it just to do it and because they said they were tall. Like you know what I mean? So.
That's a fact, man. But okay, so like on Hoops Hype, they had the top 76 international players ever. And I'm going to just read off the top 10. And y'all let me know what y'all think about this top 10. Just the international players. They got Hakeem. This is all in order. Hakeem, Dirk, Giannis, Nash, Pau Gasol, Nikola Jokic, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Luka at 9, Dikembe at 10. Ben Simmons was way down in 29, which I thought
Hold
was
on,
crazy,
my bad. Give me the top 5 one more time.
Top five again.
Top 5, Hakeem, Dirk, Giannis, Steve Nash, Pau Gasol.
And this is international?
Ever. International players ever. Yeah.
Is it biased? Is it based on resume?
I think a lot of it was off resume or whatnot, but
It has to, right?
Even let's just look at the talent. Talent wise. What do y'all think about that top 5? I was surprised to see Powell in the top 5. If you strip away, okay, yeah, he won those championships, whatever, but
You see how cats do? That's what I'm saying. You see how he did? Oh, you won them championships or whatever. Nah, we not doing that. No,
man.
I'm saying look at that talent. Like he shouldn't be in that top 5.
Power in the top 5.
I mean, Hakeem, yes, I'll leave Hakeem. Giannis, I'm gonna leave Giannis.
I think
you saying there's Steve Nash? Oh, Dirk for sure. Dirk for sure. Dirk is well too. I'm not taking anything away from Steve Nash, and I think that he's top 5 because of resume right now. I think that a guy like Luka could insert himself in that top 5 by the time he's done with his career. That's why I asked if it was basically off, you know what I'm saying, past resume, or is it just like player, like right now? Because I don't think that people would say right now if you start the team, you're gonna take Luka or you're gonna take Steve Nash. What people gonna say? You know what I mean? So
you definitely not signing in Brooklyn this year. That's a fact.
Right? I don't want to say that now. You know, I'm still ready to play, coach. So I'm not no disrespect at all. No disrespect.
It's just an opinion. Ain't no disrespect. It's just an opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
So Luka in the top 5?
He's
I think
9,
he will.
But
I think he will be eventually. Yeah, by the time he's done.
I feel like him and Jokic. I feel like Jokic will have a better career than Pau Gasol at the end of the day when you just look at like numbers in general.
Is it a better career if you don't win a ship?
He had MVPs though. Pau never had MVPs.
That's true. Do you 2 MVPs and 2 ships?
From an individual standpoint,
what's more important, 2 MVPs and 2 chips?
Now it's opinion based now at this point. You know what I mean?
It's all subjective. That's the whole reason you got to go by career, because career is the only way you can take out the opinion, take somewhat of the opinion, make it somewhat objective. So to me, like if you winning 2-3 MVPs versus being the second option on a championship team, to me that's pretty objective. Because we all know how much, like we talked about earlier in the episode, how much it takes to win. Like what goes into winning, all the moving parts that go into winning. And I think too many sports debates factor in, how many championships does he got, when it's like, bro, that's not, you can't just define a person. I mean, I know Ant just going to poo-poo some championships apparently, but it's like, nah, it's a lot that go into there's a lot that goes into winning that's out of your control or individual's control.
True.
So
I can back you with that.
Shit, who was 6 to 10? Give me 6 to 10 real quick. My bad.
6 to 10 was Jokic, Tony Parker, Manu, Luka, and Dikembe.
See, I don't know if Manu's gonna be in my top 10.
Really?
Top 10?
Top 10? Not top 10?
My top 10. Give me the next. Give me 15. Give me 11, 15.
11 to 15. Okay, now you going into. All right, you got Joel Embiid, Al Horford, Rudy Gobert, Drazen Petrovic.
Cold.
And then Yao Ming is right outside of that at 16.
What is
Wow.
is Manu better? From subjectively, is Manu that much better than Goran Dragic? Take away the championships. We just talking about it as a player. He way better. He way better. I think Dragic might be one of the most underrated international players.
He is underrated.
I think he's tough.
I think he's tough. I think Manu's better.
You think better? Okay.
I think them having Ben Simmons at 29, I feel like I don't think that's fair.
I think it's more they looking at the media right now. Whatever they're doing.
Yeah. They
you know what I mean?
doing that. If Ben Simmons was from Italy, he'd be top 15.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But Ben Simmons,
I agree.
how he is, being from Australia and all the other nonsense that's happened over the past year, they dropped him way down to 29. I'm like, come on, bro, don't make
He take top 20. Ooh.
Where's who?
Where Gallinari at?
Gallo, he's pretty high up there too. Gallo is give me a second. Gallo's he late 20s. Gallo is Gallo's after that in the 30s.
Oh yeah, no, that list is invalid. That's invalid.
Yeah.
Hold on, I must have passed Gallinari. Ain't no way he's in the 30s.
Can be.
Yeah, I thought Gallo.
And he's still in the L too. He been in the league for a minute, man.
And Gallo had some years too. Where
That's what I'm saying.
Gallo cold.
He was a big cook.
Cold.
Man.
See, I think Ginobili is obviously he benefited from being with the Spurs greatly, obviously. But I don't know if you put him, in Gallo's in some of the roles Gallo had, or I don't think he definitely doesn't have the same resume, doesn't have the same legacy, whatever. So,
I think Gallo was
the legacy.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be the same. I think that obviously the Spurs helped him be great, but I also think that Gallo and Manu, like Gallo was more of a one-on-one player, like ISO. Like I feel like Manu was this. He started being like that third option that was better than everybody else's third option. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like at the time when he came up, whether he was coming off the bench, like he was instant offense, he scored, but he wasn't really like, I'm gonna give you the ball and everybody just he finna do 3-4 dribbles and get a step back or something like that. Like
Gallo 39 on this list.
39. He higher than that.
Throw that out.
Yeah.
And Giannis is above Dirk, and that's the last thing I'm gonna say.
No. Dirk's second.
No, I'm saying Giannis is above Dirk. Should be.
Are you saying that? Okay.
He should be.
Giannis already done passed that Dirk.
What?
It's over.
Already?
What is all he got? I mean, just from a legacy standpoint, he got two MVP, a chip. I don't know how many times he's all defense, all NBA, and all that. But by the time he's clearly the best. I think Dirk. Thing about Dirk, as great as he was, like there was a significant portion of Dirk's his career where he wasn't the best player at his position for certain, and he probably wasn't even top two in his position.
I mean, but you coming up, you comparing him to Tim Duncan and KG probably, like you know what I mean, like this
for sure. But Giannis right now, arguably, is the best player in the NBA right now. Dirk has never been that.
That's true. That's fair to say.
Dirk has never been that, and
that's fair to say.
Giannis might, and he's got a window here right now where like, all right, KD's 34. Like if you ask me, I'm still KD is still probably one when KD on this shit. Like, but Giannis is arguably the best player in the league, and he's gonna have a window of at least the next 3-4 years where he's probably gonna be the best player in the league.
I got somebody to say something down the street at Chase Center, the little light skin number 30. He might got something to say about being the best player in the league. I ain't gonna lie. So
I listen. I ain't going. We talked about that on this show.
I'm not trying to be biased, but it's tough, man.
Hey, we
how can you take it away? You know what I mean?
When you get to that level of Giannis, Steph, Bron, KD, it's like honestly, Bron had a run where he was undoubtedly probably the best, but them other dudes, it's like it might just depend on the year. Like I don't. And obviously there was. I'm
gonna ask both of y'all.
The game.
Who's y'all top 5 best players in the league right now? In order too. In order.
In order.
Yeah. I wanna see what your mind right. Hey, you said Giannis, so shoot. I know you're one. I know
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
one
no,
already.
yeah. No. I said Giannis arguably, and I said I'll take KD for my money, but I'll let Ant go first. I'll let Ant go first.
We're talking about just overall greatness or just skill alone? Or just ability to put the ball in the hole, just being a good basketball player?
You put everything in whatever
everything.
So you gonna knock out the guys.
Can I give a disclaimer real quick? This is my list. My list is subject to change tomorrow. So I'm just gonna let you know.
That's great. It's fluid, huh? It's fluid.
It's fluid. It's fluid. That's my disclaimer. Go ahead, Ant.
Man, I would say it's tough. I would say
it's tough. It's tough.
I would still say KD and Giannis are my 1 and 2. I'm not sure which order. I would probably say Giannis. You know, I feel like Giannis just demands so much attention. He also has somewhat of a bigger role because KD's also on teams, or at least the last few years, been on teams where guys have needed the ball in their hands to, like, you know, get their stuff off, and they scored a high clip as well. Whereas Giannis, like, you know what I mean, he's somewhat, he's not the primary ball handler, but he got the ball in his hands a lot. So, like, I'll probably go like Giannis, KD, man, 3. It's hard for me to ignore what Jokic did with that team and that level of talent, you know, in regards to the success that they've had. I think that's impactful, even though it's not pretty. But honestly, like, I'll put Steph before him. Put Steph 3, Jokic 4, 5. Shit. I don't know. I'm about to sit on 5.
That's tough.
Yeah, I have to sit on 5.
You gonna come back to you?
Yeah,
you'll come back to
come back to 5. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I think about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go. KD is 1. I think that KD does not get the appreciation because he's known for being a scorer. He doesn't get the appreciation that guys like Giannis, Bron, even Jokic now they get for having the impact on the game in other facets, passing, you know, even knowing when to step aside and let Kyrie do his thing, rebounding the ball, defending. Like, he was guarding Tatum at parts. He was guarding Jaylen Brown at parts of the series, and he got they're shorthanded. He creating, and people take that for granted with KD, and he deserved. He started getting some credit for that, I think, in 2017 at Golden State. You know what I'm saying, for blocking shots and doing all this other stuff that he was doing.
Defending.
But he's been doing that for a long time now. And I think one thing I've enjoyed watching about KD is his ability to pass the ball has grown crazy. Like, to find guys and just be a playmaker has grown crazy. So that's why he's still 1 to me. Giannis is 2 because Giannis is he's a wrecking ball. The dude, he's unstoppable. You know what I'm saying? He does everything. He gonna dunk on you. He really only has one deficiency. 3 is Steph. I feel bad putting Steph there because he probably deserves to be at 1 right now. Just based on what he's done, he deserves to be at 1. His impact on the game, offensively especially, I don't know if it will ever be seen again. Just the way he's able to move without the ball and make other guys around him better. And then 4, I'm sticking with Bron at 4 until further notice. His impact ain't quite the same as what it used to be. On the game,
then he's not. Then he's not. He's not the same. Then if
it's not the same,
how is he top? If it's not the same,
because he's been 1. So now he's 4.
But you're saying now though. We're not saying because
we're saying right now.
Yeah.
I'm saying right now he's 4. Right now he's 4.
Okay. JT. You put LeBron. You trade LeBron and Jokic, and you put LeBron on that Denver Nuggets team. You think he takes them as far as Jokic did?
Let me think. To a 6
Think about the supporting cast without
To
Jamal
a
Murray.
6 seed? to a 6 seed, maybe in the West, maybe. I can't convincingly tell you
On
no.
paper, okay, I'm gonna ask you this then. On paper, were the Lakers last year on paper better than Denver Nuggets on paper? If you looked at just roster wise.
On paper, like who actually played in the games, like besides Mr. Glass. No disrespect, I love AD. That's one of my favorite players. That's one of my favorite players. But Mr. Glass,
That's good. That's a good one right there. Yeah,
so
yeah. Because what Denver didn't have Jamal Murray, so yeah, I guess you can.
this is
I'll give it. I'll give you that. Yeah.
this is why these lists are fluid, because I love Russ too, but the way Russ played last year from Christmas Day game on, Monte
That ain't the
Morris
same
was
Russ.
better than
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, that ain't
Monte
the same.
Morris was more effective than him. Like he put up the
in
numbers.
his role.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like he was more okay.
But if we looking
If
we look at
Denver's
on paper,
supporting cast. Hold on, don't make me Malika Andrews. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? No, what I'm saying is like on paper. Forget on paper. What was actually on the court, what was actually being produced. Denver had a better team. And I don't think it's because of what Jokic was. It was in part because what Jokic was bringing. Don't get it twisted. But that's not like LeBron could have brought some of those same things out of those dudes. And, but I will say that maybe Jokic might have been better for the Lakers team. Maybe. I don't know. But all I'm saying is I can't definitively say that LeBron couldn't have got a 6 seed with the Nuggets last year. The Lakers were poo butt, man. Like they didn't even try, dog. Like they weren't playing defense. Like all those dudes can play. Malik Monk was good. All them dudes are crazy good. They weren't trying. Like you could watch the games and see that. And we were forced to watch the games because TNT put them on
every night.
like, bro, nobody wants to see the Lakers lose to the Pelicans by 30. And that's coming from somebody who I literally watch every Laker game anyway after the fact because I want to see the end of Bron. But anyway, Bron is 4, Negro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
LeBron is 4. At 5, I'll go Jokic.
Okay. I'm gonna go 1A, 1B, 1C. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, I was about to say nah.
Because man, it's tough because I'm gonna preface this by saying I agree with you about KD as far as 2017. That was my first time. Obviously, I played against him before and played against him in OKC, but his role when he was here in Golden State was, I know I'm gonna get 30. But let me show y'all that I can do everything else. And when I saw him defending and blocking shots, getting almost 2 blocks a game, when I saw him coming off pick and roll, and it was like setting up JaVale for lobs or hitting somebody, hitting Loon in a pocket, it was like, okay, KD, like you showing something that you probably always had in your game, but it wasn't magnified because we just looking at him scoring, ISO and going and making shots. So saying that to say, like, it's hard for me to be biased because I played with both of them, but like I like K at 1, and I'm gonna put like Steph right under him. But I feel like you said, JT, I feel like my list can change because I feel like actually I'm gonna put Steph at top. I'm gonna put K right under him just because Steph just had the year he just had last year, and I think that him carrying that team by himself when everybody said he couldn't do it, when you could argue that his numbers were just as good in years past, that he probably deserved, not taking anything away from KD or Andre, but you could say that he could have got Finals MVP before this past year. You know what I mean? You could make that argument. So, but the way that Giannis demands attention and Giannis does it in a physical way, I think that Steph does it in a totally different way, but it's the same kind of attention that he demands when he's on the court. Like, you got to find him. 2 guys are going to go with him. If he coming off a down screen, he ain't got to have the ball in his hands, and 2 guys can follow him and somebody else getting open. Like, the law of attraction that he has, I think that's what separates him from a lot of the great players in the league today. And so I'm going to start with Steph. I'm going to go K right under. I'm going to go Giannis. Just because what I just said, I think he's just dominant, man. I think he just don't let nobody get in his way of what he want to do. I'm going to do this. I can shoot, but y'all going to back up and I'm still going to come down the lane and I'm going to go through y'all. Like, that mentality of I'm not going to be stopped is something that you can't teach. And I feel like he figured it out. And now he's just taking this game to a whole other level. Um, Jokic is my 4. Just like I got with that 6 seed, man. Like I don't think that it's hard to do. And he had like the 2,000 points, there was 2,000 rebounds, or like 1,000, something like that. The first player in the NBA history to do something like that. Man, he's special. I think that he's special, and I think 5 is gonna be controversial, man. I want to put Bron because of what he's doing, but I gotta go Joel Embiid. Like, that's my 5, man. Like, and from a sense of, and I feel like Joel would be higher, but because I honestly had it wouldn't have mattered to me who won MVP last year, whether it was him or Jokic. I feel like you couldn't go wrong with either one. But Joel's, I feel like his dominance and understanding, like he's not as mobile as Giannis is, as far as like being able to run up and down the floor, but the demand for what he's gonna do, I feel like he understands. Like I can't, I'm big, I can't be stopped. I'm gonna get out here in the post and I'm just gonna lay it up. Like he can shoot the 3 to keep you honest, and I think that's the difference. But I got him my top 5, and I got Bron like right outside on the 6. So.
The only thing I'll say is that Jokic stat that's one of them ESPN Tuesday night in the cold February. Because Russ did that. Russ had the 2,500. Russ had like 2,500, like 600 assists and like 970 some rebounds or something like that. It was like Jokic is like, come on, fam.
Yeah,
come on, fam. You don't play my man like that. But so Bron can't be 4 it.
I wouldn't have him at 4. I was thinking between Embiid and Bron for number 5.
Yeah,
I was between them because Embiid's another one, man. Like he steps his production up when nobody's around. You know what I mean? And he still produces at a high level when he's got some
James and Tyrese.
Yeah, like he's still that guy on that team. Like you know what I mean? So, Embiid, man, I think his impact, like on that team, man, I think is huge. So,
yeah, it is. It is.
I couldn't be mad at that, man. But yeah, man. But moving forward, man, we the Linsanity documentary's dropping. Looks like it's gonna be an interesting little clip coming out soon, sometime this month. I think in the middle of the month, man. But so the question is, man, like what memories y'all got from Linsanity, and what impact you think his success had on, like, small school but also those guys at the end of the bench, because it was really at a time where them contracts was about to be guaranteed and they threw him in the fire. Like, all right, let's see what's happening before we make this call. So what impact do you think he had on the game for those guys?
Man, for me, man, I remember Washington being in college, man. Like, he out here doing this, I know I can. And I'm not taking anything away from him, but I'm saying that more so like he giving guys like me hope. You know what I mean? Like, because I can remember, I remember when he was on when he got picked up for Golden State, where he's like on the training camp squad, I think, in Golden State. And then
Summer League,
didn't get an opportunity like he wanted to. You know what I mean? And then, you going out there and it looked like he was just hooping. Like at that point, it was like, I'm just out here. And man, the run that he had was probably, it had to be in top 5, man, kind of best stories, I feel like, in NBA history, as far as coming from where he coming from, and then the way his career played out after, which he ended up sticking and was a starter and a valuable backup, like, for the years to come. Ended up winning the ship. Obviously, it's crazy because I saw him the night that they won it. I was out here for the game. And I ended up seeing him, kind of talking to him, my first time really ever saying something to him and just telling him congrats and stuff like that. But, man, I think that he had a big impact not only for, guys at the end of the bench, but also his culture, too. Like, guys in Asia, they want to come and play in the NBA. Like, obviously Yao was a big part of that, too. But him being able to show guys like me and everybody else that it's hope, man, that all you need is the opportunity. And sometimes it is about timing. You know what I mean? And I feel like he got hot at the right time in one of the biggest markets, being in New York, and struck fire, man, for real. So I'm happy for him, man, and I'm looking forward to seeing the documentary.
Yeah, man, I say the same. I say the same. He was like, because And I think any smaller guard was kind of looking at it like, yo, yeah, damn, like I can shoot. He doing that.
Come
I
on,
can get
man.
busy too. Like, yeah, like, yeah. And again, like there's no disrespect, but it's like dude from Harvard, like just like he said in his interviews, like dude from Harvard, like, and like Asian dude, like probably not that athletic, like he
He
probably
checking
again,
me.
like you know how it is in
One for low, give
basketball,
me the
like
ball. Like
yeah,
that's how
yeah,
people.
yeah,
I'm not
like
trying to be disrespectful, but that's the mindset. Like, and I'm pretty sure he knew that.
that's the
You know what I
mindset.
mean?
And I was actually just watching an interview. He was on Sports Center talking about it, and he said that. And I mean, that's just, it is what it is. Like, so, like, just seeing that, it was like, yeah, like, it gave hope. It also was like, I honestly probably gave a little bit of a false perspective in the sense, like, he made it look somewhat easy, too, where
Easy,
it's like,
yeah.
man, you know what I'm
Not knowing
saying?
what he had to go through.
Which is, he made it look effortless, which is kind of crazy. It reminded me of like when you watch tennis, and you know what I'm saying, like you out there watching tennis, and next thing you know, you think you could be out there beating Serena Williams or whatever, and it's like, nah, it's not really like
Yeah.
that. But at the same time, it gave me an appreciation because that was still kind of at the rise of like where you could come from anywhere, like a guy like yourself, Ian, coming from Belmont, or a Nate Walters coming from South Dakota State. And like it's like you grew up with everybody and being that, but at that time it was like the Power Five schools was still like, all right, that's where we grabbing guys from,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like, and guys can hoop, but it was like going into the tournament or whatever it was. I think we played y'all. We might
We
have played y'all in the
we played
tournament
out in
that
the
year or the
tournament.
year before,
That was 2011.
2011, I think.
That was my first year.
So it might have been right
Yeah.
before. Yeah, it might. It might have been right before Linsanity. But even like going into those games, it was like, damn, like you gotta break because all these dudes can hoop. Like just because it's a smaller school, don't mean nothing. Like all these dudes can play. So it gave a kind of false perspective, also a sense of appreciation, and kind of open your eyes to just how much talent is out there for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, man, I've had a history with Jay Lynn, man. He grew up across the street from Stanford, so he used to when he was at Harvard, which is like the Stanford of the East, he used to like reach out to us in the summertime and try to play open gym with us. And like, I remember whoever was coordinating the open gyms on our team would be like, yo, we'll hit you when we need numbers type of
Yeah.
shit. And I started to see he got better. Like we played Harvard, I think my last 2 years. He came back to Stanford. He had a donut. But that next year, his senior year, I think I remember I went to watch him play at Santa Clara, man, and like the gym was packed. It was all Jay Lynn fans, man. And he looked like he was a lot better. And then he went to Summer League and, things like that. But right before Linsanity hit, I think that was the lockout year. I just came back from training camp with OKC, and I had like a week in between me signing to go play in Italy, and he was in the G League. I was in the G League for a hot second, and I seen him, and he was like, yeah, they just sent me back down. Like, I got another week to find out if my contract is guaranteed or whatever.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, I just figured the team sitting him down, get his legs warm, like, because, we just going to see what's up. And I think he had a triple-double that week in the G League. And then I went off to Italy, and I just remember my teammates in the locker room, like, just talking. I heard some Jeremy Lin. And I look up on the internet, I'm like, okay, he had a good game. And then I seen again, like, okay, he had another one.
30
And then it was
ball.
past the date. I'm like, okay, now, at least he's going to be on the team to the end of the year. He ain't going to play no more, but, you know what I mean? He earned it. And then he just kept killing, and I'm like, yo, what he's doing is special, man. And I think he was one of those players, and Ian, you could probably attest to this, man. I think, like, each situation he got in, he just figured it out. He just figured out how to get better. And I think his game just continued to grow. He just continued to stay ready. And at that point, he was just out there making basketball plays, like take the open shots when it was around. And, everybody's worried about Melo and all, and everybody else. Landry Fields having a great year and all that other stuff. And then, this kid comes off the bench and starts killing, man. So, yeah, man, I'm excited to see the documentary, man. I think he's had a dope career, man. I think his impact alone, especially on his community and for like the smaller school guys, he's definitely one of the small school success
For
stories,
sure.
coming from Stanford of the
Man.
East. Go ahead, JT. Yeah.
No, I wasn't gonna say anything. I was actually gonna say you kept saying you said that what'd you say? Stand for the S. You're not just about to slide that in, fam. Like you're just about to slide that in. But nah, I wasn't gonna say anything else. I think his walk off in Toronto might be one of the coldest moments. I ain't gonna hold it like that. To me, that's one of the dopest moments in NBA history. Like the walk off in Toronto and the night and the Lakers game at the Garden. Like that shit was.
Yeah, no,
That shit was out of a
that was
movie.
tough because like anytime you get Kobe to either directly or indirectly acknowledge you, you know what I'm saying, as an unknown basketball player, I think you're definitely doing something, man. And to wrap up, we got paycheck, rain check. Somebody's paycheck is taking a rain check, and the focus of today's episode is Tyler Hero just signed a 4-year extension, 130 million. So the question surrounding this event is as Tyler was heading into his contract year is like what Ian at the NBA level, what is that pressure of a contract year feel like? Especially being so young, and and even in your situation, just signing 1-year deals outside of that 2-year deal with Utah. Like, what was that pressure like for you? Having you reached your dream, and now I gotta prove myself again.
You gotta start over
again, and then not knowing what your role gonna be. So, speak to that pressure of the contract year, man. I think. As overseas players, we deal with it damn near every year, but I think on the NBA level, man, there's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah, man. And I can speak at it from both sides, man. I feel like I'm kind of like the European when every year was contract year for me. You know what I mean? Trying to fight and stick, but also fight and show that you can actually produce. And so, man, I feel like, for some guys, you could see it the way they play. Every shot mattered for them. Or if they didn't, they was looking at more so numbers and percentages. Like, man, I got to shoot over X amount of percentages from 3 to get my bonus or to get, you know what I mean? Like little stuff like that. And I try not to put too much pressure on myself in that sense. I feel like if I'm playing well, somebody gonna see it. And whether it's not this team, it's gonna be another team that'll give me an opportunity and give me a contract. But it's nowadays I feel like it's tough, especially for the younger guys, man, because you are comparing yourselves to your peers. Like whoever is getting, if he got 120, I know I did this. Like I should be getting this, and it becomes a bit more. And I think that it's not being left up to an agent as it was before. Now I feel like it's more of a players' league now. Guys are more hands on about what they want and where they want to play and who they want to play with. And so it's tough because you want to play well, you want to get your bread, but like I feel like we go back to the thing we said at the beginning of the show is like you got to be real with yourself as well. Like, what am I really worth? You see a lot of guys that then passed on a lot of bread that because they thought they were better or they thought they deserved more and end up not getting anything close to that the next year. You know what I mean? So it's like being able to be real with yourself. But I mean, if you guys like Tyler Hero, man, I'm happy for him. You put in the work. We saw what he did at a young age in the NBA Finals, and so being able to reap the benefits from that, like people say he's overpaid or whatever the case may be. I'm glad he got his bread because it shows the value of the work that he put in. So it's definitely one of those things where you got to. It's depending on to me, it depends on your perspective and your mindset and how you're looking at it. You can let it make you play worse, or you can let it elevate you, or you can just say, man, whatever I get, if this number that I'm getting, if I get more than this, it's a bonus. If not, then I'm okay with it. So for me, it was every year was contract year, so I'm on the flip side of it. I didn't get a chance to get the 3-4 year deals where you locked in, you feel like the team is committed to you. When you can still get traded, don't get me wrong, but when somebody say they're giving you X amount of money, but you look at the number of years, man, you feel like they committed to you. Now you feel more, at home, and you feel more stable, and you can play better basketball in that environment because you know that you have the team or committee behind you. So, man, that's my perspective from it, and it's tough. It's tough coming this year because it's like everything is magnified. Some things are out of your control. What if coach pull you? Like now you don't get. Now your numbers ain't where you need them to be, and now you can't have that negotiating power coming into the off season, saying to get your money or get your years or whatever the case may be. So.
Mm-hmm. Shoot, I think the 1 year deals. The one thing about the 1 year deals is you get comfortable being uncomfortable real fast. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And I mean that's like whatever plays out from that. Obviously, we all want the 3 year. If you're in the NBA, you want 3 years 30 or 3 years 50, whatever it may be. And if you're overseas, you want the 3 year for 2.9 or 2 point whatever it is. But it's like I think there's a value in being comfortable when you're comfortable being uncomfortable moving forward in life. Like I think that might be one of the best lessons you can learn
Man.
because you just learn to operate in a space where it's like, you don't. I don't want to say you don't give a damn or you learn to care less, which I think is a powerful thing. It's like that Wale soundtrack when he's talking about indifference. He has the Seinfeld bar talking about indifference is attractive. When you care less,
Yeah.
people are more attracted to you, shit like that.
Facts.
And, someone who else like Diana Taurasi talks about it all the time. Like she don't give a damn. Like you have to care less. So I think you develop that a little bit in being on those 1 year deals, especially regardless of the outcome. So I think there's power in that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I feel you, man. I think with contract years in general, man, like you feel the pressure, but you can't let the pressure overcome your performance. And I think that one of the important things, man, is just if you don't like your situation, man, just find a way. You know what I'm saying? Like whether I'm on a team and I feel like I should be getting more time or whatever it is. Like sometimes you just got to think about it. Like okay, if you was Kevin Durant, there's no way he wouldn't play you because your skill will be at a different level. So there's something else that you're not providing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, you just have to really just be realistic and then just find a way on the floor. Like you said, do the little things. Just find a way on the floor, then get back to doing what you want to do. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Just find your
Make
way
it
on
till you
that
make
court,
it.
man, and give yourself a chance to improve your situation, man. I think
It's crazy.
it's the best mentality.
Man, my shout out to Ronnie Price, man, OG vet. I remember my rookie year in Utah, who was in training camp, and I think it was like the weeks leading up before training camp, where the team come in probably Monday through Thursday, and y'all just like work out and y'all probably hoop, and then they give you the weekends off. And he came in and worked out with us, and we played open gym one time, and I think we played to like 7-by-1s, and I think I scored like 5 or 6 points like on our team. And I don't know, I can't remember if we won or lost, but I remember going to the locker room and he asked me my name, sat by me and talked to me. It was my first time talking to him. And he was like, hey man, he's like, man, I see that you can score. He was like, one thing about this league, I'm gonna tell you, young fella, is come in and be who you are. He said, because they'll change you fast. You know what I mean? And then once they change you, you're always gonna be that person for the rest of your career. So wherever you want to be, make sure that's on the forefront. Now you can always alter but like, you know what I mean? And when he told me that, man, it kind of made sense. Like you said, man, getting on the floor. It's like, I know I can score. So do I hinder that to get on the, you know what I mean? Like I saw a lot of guys that come out, thought they needed to, I'm going to be who I am. And if they don't like me, they don't like me kind of thing. And it's like, you can have that mindset and that's fine. Like some guys go with that mindset and have great careers. And it's like, but for me, like, it was like, okay, I know I can score, but like, I'm an undrafted guy. I'm on the court with Gordon Hayward, and Trey Burke was a top 10 pick, and Rudy Gobert was the first round pick. And you know what I mean? Like, you ain't gonna get that many opportunities to show you can score in a real game. Now you can show it out here, but I wanted them to know that I could do that. And then like you said, man, find ways to get on the floor. So what ways could I find to get on the floor? And I feel like that was kind of my mindset when I first came out. And I think that, man, that plays dividends to guys like growing their game. And I feel like it helped me grow my game to know that, like, all right, man, I had to be coming to Belmont like I was a 2 guard. Now I had to learn how to be a point guard. So maybe in my mindset, like, that was probably why I went on the floor a lot, because I was an undersized 2-man. They're not looking at me to score it like that. They're looking at me to probably be the point and come run the team. Well, I had to learn how to do that. And that's something that I like developed over my career, to learn how to be a combo guard. I'm not a pure point guard, but I know how to run the offense. I know the pace now. You know what I mean? Like little stuff like that helped me kind of stay on the floor. So.
Yep. Hell yeah. Hey man, that's a lot of free game. That's a lot of knowledge that you're dropping over there, man. Both y'all fine gentlemen. That is, we appreciate you joining us, man. That's all we got for you. We
Appreciate
appreciate you
y'all,
pulling
man.
up. We definitely gonna have you back. I am
For
Jordan
sure.
Taylor. That's Anthony Goods, and that is the champ, 6-year NBA vet Ian Clark, man. And we're gonna catch y'all next time.
Appreciate y'all.